All right, Shalom. Want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. It's your brother Rabbi Knapp coming out with a lesson, Lord's will, edifying to the Lord's elect. I was watching some news on X. I'm going to check out X real quick, probably jump over to Truth Social, and then the news, and then I'm probably just going to get into some precepts, and I'm going to end it there, see where the spirit takes me. I try to go into the spirit, see where it takes me, and kind of just go from there. But let's look at this. It says a state of emergency. Let me read it first. Was cloud seeding recently done over New York? These are legitimate questions we need to start asking every time one of these floods occur. Yeah, don't think it's a coincidence that all of a sudden there's floods all over the place. As a matter of fact, I thought I closed most of this stuff out. Let me close some of this stuff out, man. I had look at the national debt, 37,000 trillion. I'll leave that open. I got my blue letter. Oh, I got the blue letter. KJ. Okay. And matter of fact, we can close this whole thing. Let's close that whole thing. As a matter of fact, Slovakia. Where do I want to go? Let's go to Team USA. Okay. Hold on, what's this saying?
Pulling out into the public between Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino. He took the day off today from work, we're told, because he's so upset about the rollout of the Epstein memo that DOJ released earlier this week. Two sources familiar with the meeting say both were at the White House on Wednesday to discuss a unity path forward with the Trump administration following criticism from the Trump base about a DOJ memo out earlier this week that insisted Jeffrey Epstein's client list never existed and he committed suicide. Now, this after Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel and Bongino for months said Epstein information would indeed be released in some form. Bongino apparently was so upset, again, he did not come to work. One source says they haven't seen him since Wednesday at work, and he may end up resigning. He was critical of the Bureau as a podcast host before being named Deputy FBI Director. As for Bondi, she's close with President Trump, has been for years. I asked the White House if the president is happy with the Attorney General. I'm told yes, he is. Caroline Levitt, the White House press secretary, says the president is proud of the Attorney General's efforts to execute his Make America Safe Again agenda, restore the integrity of the DOJ, and bring justice to the victims of crime. The continued fixation on sowing division in President Trump's cabinet is baseless and unfounded in reality. That's from Caroline Levitt. Her deputy, Harrison Field, says of Bongino and Mr. Patel, the FBI director, the president has assembled a highly qualified and experienced law and order team.
Okay, whatever, man. You know, scriptures tell you that this devil, he's been lying. He's a liar, man. As a matter of fact, Slovakia. Oh, but I didn't close anything. But this he's just a liar. And it tells you that he's labored since his youth, man, doing this wickedness. Isaiah 47:12. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. So what this is saying is, man, enchantments and all this witchcraft, and a form of that is his lies. Okay? He lies so much. Everything's a lie with this devil, man. Everything's a lie. Everything about the Bible's a lie. All his doctrines are lies. Him coming up with the Epstein files, it's a lie. You know, someone did a video. I'm trying to find the video where, as a matter of fact, I think I gotta scroll down some more. But dude breaks it down the best. He basically says, man, the Epstein thing, it's more important than you think, man. Okay, he wants you focused on everything else except for what this kingdom was built on, which is the wickedness, man. Okay, these enchantments, he's been hiding it for a long time. Let's look at this word enchantments. Heber. As a matter of fact, let me get the Paleo Hebrew. So I've been wanting to practice my Paleo Hebrew. Paleo Hebrew to modern Hebrew. I should probably print this out though. Honestly, I need to print this out. Can we get this image here? Where is it? Right here. Can I get this? What's going on here? I've been trying to, oh, come on, man. That's not what I'm looking for. Visit this. This, I can close that. Why is it looking like that? Yes, okay, can I print this? How do I right click, print? That's not what I want. Why won't it give me? Whatever, man, whatever. How do I print this? Print. Why isn't it popping up? I don't know why this isn't popping up. Just give me 1 second. Okay, how do I print this? Control P, how about that? Yes. Give me 1 second. This especially when I'm out on the battlefield, it's a good tool to use, especially when you're getting into that Hebrew, man, because that Hebrew is important, man. Okay, 8x11. Let's print that up. Let's print that up. Salakia. Okay, while it's printing up, I'm just gonna grab it and whatever. Association company, this is that word. Hold on, what's going on? There we go. Salakia, man. All right. So I just want to read this in the Paleo Hebrew. This is a ha. No, actually, that's not a ha. That's a cha. That's a cha. Chaba. Kabar. Ra. Kabar. Ra. Cha. This is a Cha. This is a Ba. And this is a Ra. Chabara. Chabar. Let's see what it says.
Strong's H2267. Chever. Chever.
And it's a Cha. Okay? Cha. This is why, you know, it's the more you go into the paleo, the more you understand that this devil he ain't pronouncing the words correctly. Majority of the time, he ain't, especially in the Hebrew. In the paleo Hebrew, it's off. Okay? It's off, man. So, anyways, enchantments, association, company, band, shared. A magician, a charmer, a spell. That's what he's doing when he's lying. He's putting a spell on you if you believe this damn lies. But see, you can't deceive the elect. Okay? You can't deceive the elect. Let's grab that. The book of Matthew. You can't deceive the elect. Matthew 24. And let's see if we can. Okay. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. So they can't deceive the very elect, because the elect, they know he's the deceiver. Okay, so you can expect, just by him talking, it's like 100% he's a liar. Or, you know, he'll give you a little bit of truth, but majority of it's a lie. Okay, so this Epstein thing, that's another way of showing you no good, man. Psalms 58:3 tells you that he was estranged from the womb. Let's grab that. Psalm 58:3, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. That's what they do, man. Bunch of lies. That's their natural state, to speak a lie. You know, just like the righteous, you kind of feel, even though, you know, brothers lie, you're not supposed to, but people lie. And, but there's like something within you that just knows it's wrong. It's wrong. And for whatever reason you're doing it. But it feels good when the wicked lie. It's like they feel like they're doing the right thing. They're estranged from the womb. Okay, so this Epstein thing, you can expect everybody. That's what I wanted to get into. I didn't really want to get into the Epstein thing. that's the spirit. Prostitute, harlot, estranged, foreigner, an enemy, loathsome of breath, to be a stranger, be one alienated. Strange women going into different doctrines. That's what they are. To turn aside from the way of truth and uprightness. Let's give me Psalms 58:4. Let's read the next verse. Psalm 58:4. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. Let's see what that means. Now I know an adder's a snake. You know, I know some of these things, but the reason why I want to go into all of these things is because there's going to be a time where you're not going to have access. Okay? So you want to make sure that you've exhausted every avenue. You want to know I want to know everything about Psalms 58:4. This is what this whole internet thing is for. It says wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. So you got to get this word any way that you can. Okay? And not all the time is it right on the internet or AI. You know, the best way I find is to watch the elder. I watch Apostle Tahar. See what he's talking about. Always check up on his videos, man. Been doing this forever. You know, but sometimes the Spirit reveals things unto you, and it might come through your research and your diligence of searching these things out. Going into the Hebrew, reading the Hebrew for yourself. I just printed out the that chart, the ancient Hebrew alphabet with the modern Hebrew alphabet, so I can get the proper enunciation through faith, of course. You know, to get it, because we going back to the old ways, man. We going back to our heritage. Okay, Psalms 50. Did I spell that wrong? What's going on here? What's up with AI overview? Give me the answer, man. Just give me the breakdown. What's up? AI overview uses the image of venomous snakes, especially death adders, to describe the wicked and their harmful influence. The poison refers to their harmful words and actions, while the death adder represents their unwillingness to listen to reason or correction. This verse highlights the danger and destructive nature of the wicked, emphasizing their resistance to good counsel. Okay? You know, that's why when you ask these things, you see how he acts when you ask him questions about something that actually, none of that matters. He pushes that shit off. No. We focused on the war. We just bombed Iran. Look at what's going on in Ukraine. You know, Israel needs help. You know, we have to stop these wars. There's more important things other than that. When that's probably the top of the list, that this whole foundation is built on lies and all types of wickedness. That's what the foundation of this place is. It's not built on the principles of Christianity, as he likes to say. Venomous snakes, the elaboration. The comparison to snakes, particularly adders, emphasizes the deadly and harmful nature of the wicked. Their words and actions are like venom, causing a spiritual and emotional harm. Yeah, they're like venom because if you believe it, it puts you to sleep. It makes you go back into the world. It makes you think, oh, we ain't got to worry about that. We ain't got to worry about... Because all of this shit exposes him for the devil that he actually is. Okay, that's why he don't want to really... Plus, you know, it says the wicked's tongue will fall... He falleth upon his own tongue or something like that. Let's grab that. Okay. Fall upon his own tongue. I think I'm saying that wrong. Psalm 64, verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Okay, so same thing. You know, their tongue falls upon themselves because what they're doing is they're telling you one thing and then the evidence shows another scenario. There's evidence, there's receipts. You go on X, you got him standing right next to the dude, pointing at women. You have audio of him saying, grab him by the pussy. You know, there's things like that that shows you the type of character he was in his younger years. Okay, there's another scripture that says the wicked, it says something about the bones. The wicked are sin in their bones, something like that. I know I'm mispronouncing it, but let me see if I can get it. Yes, Job 20:11. His bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. So that's what it is, man. I'm gonna grab these precepts. Psalm 64:8 in various translations speaks to the idea that the wicked would be undone by their own words and actions. And that's what we're talking about here. The verse suggests that the very schemes and plots they devise against others will ultimately be the cause of their downfall, leading to their ruin in the astonishment of those who witness it. So they will make their own tongue fall upon themselves. This highlights the idea that the wicked's own words, their curses, and their deceitful plots will be turned back on them, causing their own destruction. And that's that shameful spewing also. You know, they're trying to hide it, but more is being exposed because the shit that they're saying is not adding up with the evidence that they forgot. They forgot the shit. They have so many lies they can't keep up with them anymore. They're being exposed for all the shit that they've done. Okay? Oh shit, just dropped my mouse. Oh. Go up a little bit. All who see them will flee away. The downfall of the wicked brought about by their own actions will be so striking and clear that it will cause fear and avoidance in those who observe it. Now, it might seem like it's their own actions, but we know according to the scriptures, this is why it's good that we study. Okay, because they're not watching the apostles and elders. We know there's no such thing as free will. That's kind of hinting towards like free will, right? Their own actions are causing them to do that. Even though it says you're going to fall upon your own sword, you know, you're going to fall on your own sword, but this is all part of the Lord's plan. They were created for that. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? He can't. He was created for this. This is his lot. All right, he was created for the day of destruction. Let's grab that, as a matter of fact. It's a basic scripture, but it don't come out enough. The Lord have made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So Esau was created to be doing what he's doing right now. All these lies, be exposed, be destroyed, all of it. Themes of divine justice and reciprocity. The verse emphasizes, that's why I like going into this, because sometimes they go into words. You can learn something about looking up these words. If you don't know something, this is the time to look it up, man. Reciprocity. Let me see. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Reciprocity, okay. The practice of exchanging things with others for mutual benefit, especially privileges granted by one country or organization to another. In cultural anthropology, reciprocity refers to the non-market exchange of goods or labor ranging from direct barter to forms of gift exchange, where a return is eventually expected, as in the exchange of birthday gifts. It is thus distinct from the true gift, where no return is expected. Reciprocity is the principle or practice of exchanging things with others for mutual benefit, especially privileges, advantages, or services. It's a social norm that encourages people to respond to actions in kind, whether positive or negative. Okay. Reciprocity. Okay, the verse emphasizes that God's justice will prevail and the wicked will face the consequences of their actions. That's true, which is a common theme in Psalms and other wisdom literature. The idea of what goes around comes around is also present. Examples, some interpretations suggest the verse can be seen in historical examples where individuals who plotted evil against others ended up experiencing similar or even worse fates themselves, like Haman's gallows for Mordecai. And that's exactly, it's a beautiful analogy, because that's Esau falling upon his own sword, or Amalek, because I believe Haman was a descendant of Agag. Okay, and when you read 1 Samuel 15 and 22, Samuel, I believe, destroys somewhere in that verse or in that chapter. Samuel destroys Agag, who was an Amalekite, because Saul was given the order to go kill all these Amalekites, and he didn't. Okay, so according to AI. Okay, Job 20 and 11 speaks about the consequences of sin, suggesting that even the youthful vigor and strength of a person will ultimately be brought to the grave. I kind of disagree with that. It highlights how the effects of sin, particularly those committed in youth, can manifest in physical decline and ultimately lead to death and decay. Okay. The verse serves as a reminder of the lasting impact of sin and its connection to suffering and death. Yeah, I agree. I think, in my opinion, I would say he's full of the sin from his youth, because even though he's an old man now, I'm talking about Duck, you can still see that those things that he committed as his youth made him who he is today. And when you add 1 and 1, you get 2, which shows you that Why is he acting like this when it comes to this, these Epstein files? And it's the spirit that it's all coming out now. It's all the timing of it all that's so that makes it more important, because the Lord is exposing this devil, man. He's exposing this whole shit, because you look at Joe Biden, for example. People thought he was all types of fucked up, all types of shit. You know, even when Obama was president, now a lot of shit coming out about him too. You know, it's like they just got worse and worse and worse. I can't remember anything about George Bush really, except for the weapons of mass destruction, which was a lie. The Bill Clinton thing, you know, yeah, Bill Clinton got a lot of shit on him, but you know, the big thing was Monica Lewinsky, which is silly. Who cares? I was talking to somebody that they said the country was doing good under Bill Clinton, and then they had to come up with some type of scandal to fuck his shit up. You know? And ultimately it's the Lord, man. Because this place is not created to be here forever. All right? But I want to go into Job 20:11 in the meaning. His bones are full of the sin of his youth. This imagery suggests that the consequences of youthful sins are deeply ingrained and affect the very core of a person's being. Bones in biblical symbolism often represent strength in the inner self. That's beautiful, because that's what we're talking about. You know, when you look at Duck today, some of the things he said before, just like P. Diddy, you know, even though he may have not have been charged, we know it says a lot about who he actually is, okay, and what he actually represents. He's definitely been put to death in a different way, especially his character has been exposed, man. Type of shit that he's in. Even Cassie's even getting into some shit now, saying all the type of shit that they're into, man. That's why this being rich and all that, man, that's for the wicked, man. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's somebody that's not wicked that got money that the Lord is protecting, because the Lord runs all of this. He runs it all. If he wants you to be successful in this world, you'll be successful in this world. As a matter of fact, let me grab a scripture on that. 1 Samuel. Because Hannah said that. I think it's 1 Samuel 2. I'll go straight to the point. 1 Samuel 2:8. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust, and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them. So he could raise the poor out of the dust, which is from a confused state, a low state, and a beggar from the dunghill. A dunghill is like a shitty situation, a shitty, you know, you don't want to be on the top of a hill full of shit, man. To set them among princes, so he can exalt you. Okay, and I'm gonna grab that after. Okay. Which shall lie down with him in the dust. This refers to the inevitability of death and the return to the dust from which humans were created. It emphasizes that even the strongest, most vigorous person will eventually succumb to death, carrying the consequences of their actions with them. Yeah. You shall lie down with him in the dust. That's right. Context. Zophar, one of Job's friends, uses this verse to argue that Job's suffering is a result of his sin and to urge him to repent. Zophar believes that the wicked, like Job, will eventually face divine retribution for their actions. And he's right. The wicked will face divine retribution for their actions, but the point of the matter is that Job isn't wicked. You calling the righteous wicked. And the Lord knows who is who. Okay? The Lord tells you in Job, the first chapter, that he was an upright, he was perfect in the eyes of the Lord. Okay? So when man calls you whatever, hey, it's the Lord that justifieth. We just hope we're all sinners, man. He was going off on that. But when it's not for everyone to know. You know, that's what he thought. And on a low level, he's right, because on the most high level, he don't think like us. Okay? You don't know who you are. He does. He has way more information to make a judgment on somebody than we do. Get this in 1 Samuel 2:8. Describes God's power to elevate the lowly and humble the mighty. And that's what he's going to do with Esau, Edom. And he's going to do that with Jacob, Israel also. It highlights God's ability to reverse fortunes, bringing the poor and the needy from a place of lowliness to positions of honor and authority, which is power, while also humbling those who are powerful. So this is what we're talking about. Esau's in power. He going to get humbled. There ain't going to be no pride month. All this pride. It shows you who the wicked is, man. It's showing you a clear indication who are the wicked. The verse also emphasizes God's sovereignty over creation, stating that the foundations of the earth are the Lord's. And exactly. So that's what I mean by him bringing you into any position. Okay? He raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap. Now, this is a different translation, but this is the bringing you out of the dunghill. This imagery depicts God's intervention in the lives of those who are marginalized, oppressed, or experiencing extreme poverty. The ash heap was a place of refuse and desolation, symbolizing their low social status and suffering, which going back to the dunghill. To seat them with princes and have them inherit a throne of honor. This contrasts the previous imagery showing God's power to elevate the downtrodden, which are the Israelites. Okay? We don't have our part in this world because our world is coming. Okay? Princes in a throne of honor represent positions of authority, respect, and influence, just like Esau has the all of that. He's been given the whole world, and that includes the power, the glory, all of it. As a matter of fact, that's what Satan said he would give those who would bow down and worship him. Well, clearly Esau made a deal with the devil, and ultimately the Lord gave it to him on the left-hand side to possess everything that he has. Let me make sure I'm finished with that. I want to jump all over the place. For the foundations of the earth are the Lord's. On them he has set the world. This part emphasizes God's sovereignty and creative power. The foundations of the earth symbolize stability and order, highlighting God's ultimate control over all creation. So he set them, okay, on the pillars. For the foundations of the earth are the Lord's. So he can, if the foundation of something belongs to someone else, he has control of it. On them he has set the world, okay? On the pillars that are the Lord's, okay? Before I forget, let me see if I can find this video. 1 Peter 4, most of all, love one another deeply, love erase. I don't know if I'm gonna find it, man. It's guy just basically explains what I'm saying is that, excuse me, if this was to be exposed, that it would how detrimental it is to this kingdom, and it is. Now the big scandal is Bongino or Pam Bondi. Oh, we got to get rid of one of them, and this is that cover up. This is those enchantments, the witchcraft. I don't think I can find it. I forgot where I found it on X, but what's this? Anti-ICE protesters gang up on a lone guy outside the LA farm and assault him. I think someone died on that. What the hell? Yeah. So, let me see, am I done with this? In essence, 1 Samuel 2:8 is a testament to God's justice and power to reverse human circumstances. It speaks to God's character as one who cares for the vulnerable and has ultimate authority over all things. Okay. Whatever. Am I gonna be able to find it? Oh shit. They made an AI video of Jeffrey Epstein.
Convenient. Epstein case closed. Client list gone.
Wow. That's probably exactly what happened. He dipped out of the cell. Alright. I don't know. But let's just keep it moving, man. Okay, let's this. True Social Happy Crypto Week. The House will soon vote on a tremendous bill to make America the undisputed #1 leader in digital assets. Nobody does it better. The Genius Act is going to put our great nation light years ahead of China, Europe, and all others who are trying endlessly to catch up, but they just can't do it. Yeah, they're trying to catch up with America. Like, get out of here, man. You look at China, you look at Japan, you look at Iran. Look at different places of the world, man. They're doing a lot better than us. The educational system in China, I don't even know why they come here. Maybe because they think there's more opportunity, but you actually learn more by being over there in China. Okay, they have that work ethic that America just doesn't have. Other countries ain't putting all this wicked shit in their foods with chemicals. From what they say, who knows? The wicked run the whole world. I'm sure they're doing the same shit. You can't trust these damn heathen. The heathen eat abominable shit. They put mad shit in the water. They pollute the water. Even if they're not directly putting shit in the food, they pollute the world and the environment where the animals are, and then they eat it. So they're both equally bad. All right. So they all got to be taken out of power, man. And we got to be changed. We can't rule with the where we're at in this mindset. We'll be through just like the rest of these heathen. Digital assets are the future, and we are leading by a lot. And I'm gonna say it again. Bitcoin's over $120,000. You can buy gold. You can buy ETFs. You can buy all that shit. You need the marketed beast in order to buy or sell. Okay? So, I don't care about, wisdom is wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. But it says wisdom is what leadeth to life, not money. Okay? There's some people that don't have a dollar to their name, and they're going to be delivered. Okay? If the Lord's dealing with them. All right? Because he's going to have mercy on who he's going to have mercy. I'm laboring for mercy, grace, wisdom. That's what I want. That's all I want to get. All right? And provoke those who are believers to do the same, to want the same. You should want the same thing for you. Scripture that tells you wisdom leadeth into a kingdom. I believe in the book of Wisdom of Solomon. So that's what I would be going for if I was, if I had to tell anybody anything. Let's get this word while you still can. Digital assets are the future, but we know according to Revelation 13 and 16, both small or great, rich or poor, free or bond, receive a mark in their right hand or their forehead. So in order to spend all this stuff, see what's going to happen, and how I kind of see it, to me, unfolding is you Americans are going to be, y'all going to have a lot of money. He going to make it look great. There's going to be a time, I think, this place is going to go out with a bang. It's going to get really good and then really bad. It's going to go, you saw his last bang. Right? You're going to have a lot of money, and you're going to be blocked off from the rest of the world. You ain't gonna have no way to get access to, and you're gonna be spending. Inflation's gonna be here. It said the price of bread is gonna be like a day's worth, and you can see if we go on digital, how that's gonna apply. Same thing you would used to pay because the dollar's going down into nothing. Okay, the dollar's going into nothing. And we got to keep our mind on what the Lord said, because this world will make you think. You go outside today, you talk to people, they'll tell you how beautiful of a day it is. They're not thinking about the Lord, man. They're not thinking about these prophecies. They're not occupied in this occupation. Okay, and we are leading by a lot. Get the first vote done this afternoon. All Republicans should vote yes. This is our moment. Digital assets, genius, clarity. It is all part of making America great again, bigger and better than ever before. We are leading the world and will work hard with the Senate and the House to get even more legislation on this passed. So let's look up what the Genius Act is. Okay. The Genius Act, also known as the Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act, is a bill passed by the U.S. Senate on June 17, 2025. It establishes a federal regulatory framework for payment stablecoins, which are digital assets designed to maintain a stable value relative to a fiat currency like the U.S. dollar. The act aims to clarify the regulatory landscape for stablecoins, ensuring they are backed by sufficient reserves and comply with anti-money laundering and consumer protection regulations. So they're trying to turn your money into more nothing, backed by nothing. Money's already backed by nothing. It's not backed by gold. They didn't go to Fort Worth and show you any gold. So your money's not backed by nothing. And then a stable coin is supposed to be backed by a dollar that's not backed by anything. Okay, so it's all a facade. This place is done. Okay, so the best thing to do is to learn and get this knowledge while you can. All right. As a matter of fact, should I read some of these articles that's out? It says it's a huge week for crypto in DC, but the industry may not get everything at once. Happy Crypto Week. Trump hails Genius Act, says U.S. will soon become undisputable. Crypto bills set to advance this week take industry closer to mainstream. House gears up for crypto market structure vote on Wednesday. Stablecoins, but every nation's doing this stablecoin bullshit. The BRICS nations has their digital. Let's just back that up. BRICS has a digital currency. Let's see. Currently, there isn't a single unified BRICS digital currency being used by the member nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Hold on, Saudi Arabia? I thought they're a U.S. ally. However, the BRICS group is actively working on developing a payment system based on digital technologies and blockchain to facilitate cross-border transactions among member countries, according to reports in Russian news agency TASS. This initiative is part of a broader strategy to reduce reliance on the U.S. dollar and Western-led financial systems like SWIFT. This system is commonly referred to as BRICS Pay. So the rest of the heathen nations are doing the same thing. So they all down with this MOTB. BRICS Pay is envisioned as a decentralized platform that would enable transactions in national currencies or potentially incorporate a stable exchange mechanism, according to Cointelegraph. It aims to reduce transaction costs and times, enhance security, and promote financial inclusion. It's important to note that the development and implementation of BRICS Pay are still in progress, and there are challenges to overcome, including the need for coordination among member states with diverse financial systems and potential geopolitical tensions. Some experts remain cautious about its feasibility and potential impact on the global financial system. Yeah, there's going to be a big impact on the global financial system because meanwhile, while this shit's being implemented, the MOTB is being implemented, and World War III is going to increase, and it's all coming together. It's all coming together. Okay, but we know this MOTB is going to be mandatory, and all of this plays a part in that tracking system. And in order to get people on board with things, shit has to happen. In order to go to war with Iraq, you needed 9/11. So same thing. All of the playbooks that Esau's used before is going to all come to pass all over again. All right. I did want to grab another scripture about this Hebrew. Going into this Hebrew, man. It's important that you do what I did today and just print out the chart. Okay, print the chart out and go into these words. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 9. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord, Yahweh, to serve him with one consent. Okay, and this is what we're doing. Let's look at this word, Lord. When you read it in the modern Hebrew, he's telling you it's Jehovah.
Strong's H 3068. Yehovah. Yehovah.
You know, he's telling you it's that. But then when you go to that pure, let's go to that word pure, because this modern Hebrew is not pure. Okay, it's not pure. Where is it? Let me look at this word right here. This is the ba. The ba. The ba-ra. Barar. Because it's ba-ra-ra, but dropping the A is ba-ra. Bara. Let me see what it's saying.
Strong's H 1305. Barar. Barar.
Bara. B-A-R-A-R. B-A-R-A-R. So it's saying barar. 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 Okay? Let's go, and that means pure. Okay? To purify oneself. To show oneself pure. To purge out, purify. To choose, select, to cleanse, make shining, polish, to test, prove, to purify oneself. So we should get in the purification of yourself, like Esther did before she met the king. And this is what we're doing. Okay? Let's go back to that. Zephaniah 3 and 9 again. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, which is the Paleo-Hebrew, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord, which is Yahweh. I didn't even go into it, but it's Yahweh, to serve him with one consent. Okay? To serve him with one consent. Zephaniah 3:9 describes a future time when God will restore a pure language to all peoples, enabling to worship him together with one voice. This verse signifies a spiritual transformation in unity among nations as they collectively turn to God. For then will I turn to the people of pure language. This refers to a time after God's judgment and purification when the peoples of the world will be united in their worship of God. Okay? So it sounds like the heathen are going to be coming back to this language too, but it starts with us. We're going to be teaching, they're going to be coming to us for this knowledge, that they all may call upon the name of the Lord. This highlights the universal nature of God's call to worship. It suggests that all people, regardless of their background, will be able to call on God and be heard, to serve him with one consent. This emphasizes the unity and harmony that will exist, because that's what the whole creation is, to worship the Lord. They will serve him together with one heart and one mind, according to some biblical commentaries. But it starts with Israel. Okay. Woe to Jerusalem and the nations. Okay. Let me read Zephaniah. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey, for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For then will I turn to the people of pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord, to serve him with one consent. So the destruction, and then there it is. Okay, then we're going into the pure language. But we're going to be going into that now. According to Isaiah 19 and verse 18, in that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan and swear to the Lord of hosts. One shall be called the city of destruction, which is Babylon. Okay. Isaiah 19 and 18 describes a future time when 5 cities in Egypt will speak the language of Canaan, which is Hebrew, and swear allegiance to the Lord of hosts, God, which is Yahweh. One of those cities will be called the city of destruction, or possibly the city of the sun, Heliopolis. Okay, the city of destruction is Babylon. This verse is part of a larger prophecy about Egypt's future, including a highway between Egypt and Assyria, and Egypt, Assyria, and Israel being blessed by God. Okay, key points: 5 cities in Egypt. The prophecy highlights a shift in Egypt, with 5 cities adopting the language and faith of the Israelites. The language of Canaan refers to Hebrew. Okay, so clearly but Canaan, yeah, it's talking about Hebrew. Swearing allegiance to the Lord, the cities will demonstrate their faith by formally declaring their loyalty to the Lord of hosts. Now that starts with us. Okay, city of destruction / sun. The ambiguous term city, it's not ambiguous. It's talking about Babylon. The shift in Egypt's also talking about Babylon, according to Revelation 11 and 8. Part of larger prophecy, the verse is connected to prophecies about a highway between Egypt and Assyria, and all 3 nations, Egypt, Assyria, and Israel, being blessed by God. The only one that's going to be blessed is Israel, so I don't know what that's talking about. But let me grab this in Revelation 11 and 8. I'm probably ended on this, showing that America's Egypt too. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, talking about America, and talking about the Israelites. Their dead bodies, Jeremiah 17 and 4. We were discontinued from our heritage. We were alive, but we didn't have the knowledge of who we were, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Okay, spiritually called Sodom and Egypt because that's what Babylon's about. Egypt is synonymous with the house of bondage, according to Exodus 20 and 2, and Sodom, clearly because that's what Babylon is about. Okay, it's just like Sodom and Gomorrah, man. As a matter of fact, there's a precept on that I want to grab. I think it's Isaiah 3 and 9. Explains it better than anyone could ever. Okay. Isaiah 3:9, the show of their countenance do witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom, they hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. And that's what you see here in Babylon. They declare their sin as Sodom, and they hide it not. And this is for Egypt. I am the Lord thy God, Exodus 20:2, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Okay, so it's synonymous with bondage. And this is where the Israelites served slavery. Okay, Jeremiah 50, all the Israelites, all 12 tribes. Jeremiah 50 and 33, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Okay, so that's talking about here in Babylon. Okay. Back in Revelation 11:8, where also our Lord was crucified. Crucified in the Greek. Lord wasn't crucified in Egypt, by the way, so it's not talking about ancient Egypt. Okay. It's talking about where was the Lord crucified. Let's look at this word crucified. It's staru. We can't translate the Greek into Hebrew. At least I don't know how to. If there's a way. Let's see. Let me see if I can. I just want to type it in. Why not? The Greek word staru, meaning to crucify, can be translated into Hebrew as tazalav. The Hebrew word tazalav is commonly used to express the concept of crucifying or impaling someone. This term is also found in context related to crucifixion in Yahweh Shai's literature and tradition. Can you give me a Bible verse? Galatians 5 and 24. That's more. I'm talking about in the Old Testament. Let me put this word crucified real quick. I just want to see. But that's not what it's talking about. It's not literally talking about being crucified. So you're not going to find crucified in the Old Testament. Okay. But I want to see. It's giving me a word, tazalav. Translate Greek to Hebrew, this word. Crucify is litzbo. So it's giving me multiple. Tazalav. What happened to Tazalav? Alright, well. I don't know if there's a way. I just wanted to check. Because I think you can, but I don't know how to. I might have to ask a brother if they know how to. Let's go back to Star Rule, because it tells you it's not talking about an actual crucifying. Crucify does mean to stake, drive down with stakes, to fortify with driven stakes, to palisade, to crucify one. But it says you got to choose wisely. We know that the Lord was crucified in Egypt. Okay. So it says metaphor, to crucify the flesh, destroy its power utterly. And that's what happened. They destroyed the power utterly of the Lord. That's why even though we know the letter J was created in 1524, you still call him Jesus Christ. You cover up the faces of the judges thereof, according to Job 9 and 24. This is how he was crucified. And it's the wicked that did it. And where does the wicked rule? Here in Babylon. Okay? And he made everyone drink of that cup. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Malachi 1:4, Esau Edom is the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. Okay, the main judge is Yahweh Shah Hamashiach. He covered him, and that's why y'all don't know what the Lord looks like. Okay, through iconoclasm. If not, where and who is he? If it wasn't Esau, who else? What color did they make Jesus Christ? Did they make him look like a Chinese man, or did he made it look like himself? Okay. What was I looking for? Let's go to first. I wanted to look up iconoclasm and see what that word means. A lot of people, they don't look things up, man. This is what this internet is used for. First Maccabees 3:48. I'll start at 47. Then they fasted that day. Actually, let me start up. First Maccabees 3:46. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Mashpha over against Jerusalem. For in Mashpha was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes and laid open the book of the law wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. And that's you painting over. Let's get the meaning of that. Okay. First Maccabees 3:48. The verse describes the Jewish people in a time of distress and facing threats from Gentiles, heathen, Esau, Edomites, turning to the Torah for guidance instead of consulting idols like the Gentiles would. Specifically, the verse highlights the act of unrolling the book of the law, symbolizing a reliance on God's word and teachings for direction during a crisis. Okay. It don't even want to go into it. This is the passage is part of a narrative where the Jewish people are facing persecution from the Seleucid Empire under King Antiochus IV Epiphanes, who had forbidden the practice of Jewish law and customs. The Gentile approach, the verse contrasts the Jewish response with that of the Gentiles, who would typically consult their idols or oracles for guidance in such situations. The Israelites, instead of turning to idols, unrolled the book of the law, demonstrating what about paint the images? They don't want to see. This is what Esau does. Okay, we know what this is talking about, but if I could explain it better, I'm going to try to. The meaning of 1 Maccabees 3:48, wherein the heathen has sought to paint the likeness of the images, is subject to interpretation. Okay, here's a breakdown of common understanding. Consulting idols for God's law, we already read that. The nature of likeness of their images refers to the representation of figures of the Gentiles, gods and deities that they would consult, perhaps as part of the divinatory process or for seeking favorable omens before battle. The act of painting literally says, meaning to paint the likeness of their images. While some translations use the word paint, it's understood that this may refer to a broader act of creating or utilizing images of their deities rather than strictly painting in the modern sense. A possible translation or textual variation. Some scholars suggest that the Greek text may be unclear, with some translations opting for interpretations like consulting the images of their idols rather than painting the likeness of their images. Okay. Which is iconoclasm. The action of attacking or assertively rejecting cherished beliefs in institutions or established values and practices. The rejection or destruction of religious images as heretical, the doctrine of iconoclasts. Okay. Iconoclast. Enthusiasm is the social belief in the importance of the destruction of icons and other images or monuments, most frequently for religious purposes. The destruction of images or hostility toward visual representations in general. And more specifically, the word is used for the iconoclastic controversy that shook the Byzantine Empire for more than 100 years. Okay. They don't, but that's them painting the likeness of their images. Okay, this is them change. These are probably dark images. They painted white. This was probably a dark image. They painted white. That's what they do. They shoot the noses off the Sphinx. They do all this shit, man. That's what they did to him too. Okay. And we're gonna do the same thing. Actually, we're gonna destroy all his shit anyways, and we putting up our images. So it's not like he did. That's what they did, you know. Take it over. That's all they did. You know. I want to see the devil doing it. Let me see if I can. Trying to catch this devil in the action. I don't see any videos of him doing it, but that's what it is. It's painting the image with the likeness of themselves. All right, but you know what? I'm gonna end it right there. Lord's will, that was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem.